Just south of Seneca Lake, amidst the rolling vineyards and woodlands in upstate New York's Finger Lakes region, sits a shrine of American motorsport. Watkins Glen International is more than just a racetrack. It's the birthplace of post-war road racing in North America, a worthy test of some of the best drivers to ever sit in a race car. Today, the Glen hosts NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series racing, as well as a 6-hour crown jewel of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, SCCA, professional and amateur racing, ARCA Menard Series, and a major vintage race meet. It also has been home to some major concerts and other festivals. Over the years, the Glen has been lengthened once and continually upgraded. A lap around today's Grand Prix circuit still incorporates much of the original layout. The first turn, known as the 90, a right-hander and good place to pass. Then it's up towards the S's, a series of 3 fast sweeping apexes leading onto the back straightaway. Cars reach their top speed here before hard braking at the bus stop at the end of the straightaway. Here the track doubles back through the carousel, followed by another long straight and into the fast turn number 10. A quick left-hander that's harder than it looks. The last corner, turn 11, is another fast right-hander that leads out onto the front stretch. Racing first came to the Glen in 1948 in the form of the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, an SCCA-sanctioned event that ran on a more than 6-mile course over the back roads of town. The success of that event eventually led to the construction of a permanent track. The resulting product, a little more than a third in length of the original circuit. In 1957, the track hosted its first race, a NASCAR Grand National event won by Buck Baker over Fireball Roberts. The following year, Formula Libre showed up, and not long after that, Watkins Glen hit the big time. In 1961, Formula One came to the little town by the lake, bringing with it some of the most legendary names in motorsports. For the next 2 decades, the home of the U.S. Grand Prix was Watkins Glen. The early 80s saw tough times for the Glen. F1 held its last race there in 1980, and it was closed to all but spectator-free SCCA meets for 2 years. But the track would soon recover, soon enough, under new ownership. In 1986, NASCAR's Top Series returned to the Glen, and with it, a whole new renaissance for the track began. Tonight, it's the Spark 115 at the Glen, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Watkins Glen International for the Spark 115 at the Glen. 29 laps the race distance, 71-degree ambient temp, 28% humidity, partly cloudy skies, a 7-mile-per-hour breeze, track temperature 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers have 2 sets of tires over the wall to work with this afternoon and a 70% fuel load. With that said, again, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, joined in the broadcast booth by Zach Millett. Zach, how are you? Welcome back.
Hey, Steve, it's good to be here, man, especially for road course. I'm pumped.
Always a fun place to be. We'll be down here, I think, it's T-minus 24 days, 23 days, something to that effect. Certainly looking forward to that. But some truck racing here tonight. We got a little preview of that in real life a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, they haven't been back since, but luckily we do have it here on the sim. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Glen. Top time is the 58 of Justin Wilson, a minute 12:11. That's a pretty solid time in the truck, Zach. I mean, it might have been a while since you've been in a truck here, but does that seem like a pretty solid lap? I think it's pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it is pretty quick, Steve. And yeah, I think since the update, I don't know if I've even turned a lap around here in the truck, but I noticed everybody's trying to get a fast lap in towards the end of practice here. It's, what do we got? 2nd place through 4th place. Geez, half a tenth. You know, that's pretty darn close times.
We were looking at the times early on, and 3 drivers had turned identical lap times. That has since changed and, well, since gotten a little faster. Taking a look at the schedule here for the balance of the season, of course, Watkins Glen this week. We're taking a week off next week, just kind of break things up. Then we go to Chicagoland, Bristol Motor Speedway, and as we mentioned, the week of the 11th of September, this broadcaster will be in Watkins Glen, so we can't cover the races there for that. Then Dover, Talladega Auto Club, and then closing out the season at Homestead Miami Speedway. Keep in mind, folks, the Fans' Choice Award is available. Go to the link in the description of the broadcast tonight. Click that, fill out the information, pick your favorite driver. They will get awards handed out at the end of the season for just that. Justin Wilson on the speedway already, rolling out of pit lane into turn number 2 on his out lap. So Zach, I mean, principally, not much has really changed from the the old update to the current update as far as getting around Watkins Glen. What is the key to success around here? Is it really dialing in the brakes and not abusing them, but in the same token, taking care of tires? I mean, what is the really key here to be fast, not just for one lap, but throughout the course of the run?
Yeah, luckily the trucks don't have a real significant amount of power. I mean, they still have, what, 670 horse, so they're pretty stout, but, you're not going to roast the tires off, say, like a Gen 4 or even a Cup car. So, but you can still kind of get loose, on entry and exits of these corners. So if you really got to keep some life in these back tires, especially. And, it's all about commitment, Steve. I mean, as well as I do, you go in that bus stop, you got to cut it pretty close to make time. So I'm curious to see if any of these guys kind of go easy on the first lap, get a solid lap and then go for gold on that second lap.
I mean, is that kind of your opinion, though? Lap 2 likely to be quicker with the tire temps come up, tire pressures coming up? Or can you get more out of it on the first lap?
I don't know. I think they're probably about the same. I think lap 2, you're just kind of, you're kind of going for it. You got nothing to lose. And it's man, it's really tough if you mess up on that first lap and get an off track, which is really easy to do. You can dip a wheel out of the exit of the bus stop or, really anywhere. It's pretty easy to do. So it's all about that commitment.
Wilson looks pretty solid through the bus. Oh, I was just thinking he was solid, but he overdoes it. Hits the wall on exit of the bus stop. Remember, he was fast in practice. He's going to reset here. Give this another try. We'll go over to James Danforth, the number 88 Napa Auto Parts machine out of South Portland, Maine. Qualifying the pole award sponsored by EPD, Evan Pienta Designs. Danforth's about to take the green here.
On a regular fast lap at Watkins Glen, I usually look for 3 separate things. Turn 1, as he comes down here into turn 1, see if he clips that apron a little too hard, that curbing, because that'll definitely take away a little speed. See, he goes around it, struggle to stay in there. And then when you go through that bus stop, how much curve you kind of cut there. The closer you're out of that wall, the straighter you make that bus stop, the more speed you're going to have. And then the carousel, if you get up there too wide, you start losing time. You might think you might have a decent run off on exit, but wrapping that bottom is where it's at.
Now, an interesting point here with the curbing on entrance to the bus stop. Obviously, right now in the iRacing service, it is how it once was, but NASCAR, or I should say the track itself, which is owned by NASCAR, recently updated this curbing right here. Pienta just drove over to flatten it out. A lot of the drivers in the Cup Series in real life were complaining about it, mainly because of the G-forces they were experiencing hitting that curb on entry. So NASCAR went in and modified that curbing, flattened it out, and I think now it's set up where it's just a flat piece of concrete that they can either bolt in curbing or remove, very similar to the road course at Indianapolis. Now, we saw how troublesome that was on the Indy Road Course event, I think it was a year or two ago now, where Joey Logano ended up ripping a piece up in a massive wreck. Curious to see when we go there in September if they're going to have that bolted in or if it's just going to be flat concrete. If it's going to be just flat, Zach, I'd be willing to bet we're going to see some really fast lap times.
Oh, yeah. Man, you could probably just sand it on entry through there without worrying about catching air anymore. I mean, that'll be, at least a second, I think.
Pienta wraps up his qualifying effort here, minute 13.3. Brian Brobst in the number 11, off turn 10. Sounds like he's holding it in third gear through turn 11. Is that kind of what you do there, Zach? I usually grab second gear.
Yeah, I'm a second gear guy. I like to use that torque off exit.
Minute 16.81 for Brobst. Wes Pistol in the number 7. Wes out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Decent lap to start things off, 74.99. Fast time right now, Justin Wilson was able to get back out there. And Zach, that's a lightning fast lap. That was his first and only lap, because remember, it was his first attempt. He ended up crashing in the bus stop, so only had one lap to get it done. 1:12.75 for the 58.
That is pretty decent.
Johnny Rapp second, 1:12.84. Rapp ran the Can-Am series with us here in the No Bull Racing Series last season. That was kind of a mixed event. It was the late model stock and super late models racing on road courses exclusively. So Johnny was out for a part of that as well. And I think, Zach, you were in that as well.
Yeah, I remember battling out there with Rapp. He's a very fast driver, very consistent.
Pistol across the line, lap 2 in the books, picks it up a little bit more, 74.489. Nick Lucci still out on track. Don't know that he's completed a lap officially. We'll stick with him here for a moment. We got John Rapp in the stream chat. Thanks for checking in, John. Still no time confirmed for Lucci. He might be using this as a extended practice here with just a few minutes left. Jake Maki on the speedway, 17th on his first attempt, 75.643. Maki across the line, picks up. Pretty significant pickup, only one spot, but about half a second. 75.062. That looks like that's going to wrap up qualifying here. About a minute and a half left, so we're going to jump out quickly and get a break out of the way. We'll be back with the starting grid after this. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short...
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen for the Spark 115 at the Glen. Let's take a look at our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 1 minute 12.398 seconds. It's Nick Lucci. Outside front row with a quick time as well, about 3.5 tenths shy of the pole is Justin Wilson. Row number 2, it's the 52 of Johnny Rapp. Chris Smith in the number 28 will roll from the 4th position. Row 3, it's Chase Berry and Hunter Gio. Row number 4, it's Evan Pienta and Josh Ward. Row 5, it's Brandon Ayers and Rye Jones. Starting in the 11th spot, James Danforth in the number 88. Wes Pistol in the 7 will start 12th. Starting in the 13th position is the number 4 of William Cameron. Starting 14th, Ellis Thomas. 15th starter is Chris French. Sam Cosner will roll 16th. 17th starter is Jake Mockey. Dade Grajewski in the 6th will start 18th. Robert Lydell III in the number 80 Attitude Esports machine will start 19th. Brian Brobst in the 11 rolls 20th. 21st starter is Steve Vest in the 60. Nathan Gentry from Dumpster Fire Racing will start 22nd. Nick Saroff in the number 67 rolls from 23rd. 24th starter is Paul Thomas. 25th is Patrick Colby. 26th, Dylan LeBeau. 27th starter, Abram Ghostin. 28th is William Lyman. And 29th, shotgun on the field in the number 69 is Larry Poling. It's your starting grid here from Watkins Glen International Field. Getting ready to roll here, parked on the front stretch. And there we go, starting to roll off. Back to the race details again. 29 laps the race distance. 2 sets of tires over the wall. 73-degree ambient temperature. 32% humidity. Awfully dry here at the Speedway. Partly cloudy skies. 10-mile-per-hour breeze. Getting a little windier. Track temp 114 degrees. Wanted to take a look closer here. Full course cautions are turned off. Local yellow only. And we have one green white checker turned on. I don't think we'll ever have an opportunity for that. And no fast repairs, so no safety net for these guys tonight.
Well, Steve, you know what time it is.
Tool time?
Even better.
I'm going to go with... Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I hate to go just with the pole sitter here, but I'm going to go with Nick Lucci, and there's a reason for it. This is his 3rd pole in a row. He's yet to visit victory lane this season, though. He's been in contention, and for one reason or another, he's been, well, bitten by some bad luck before these races have come to their end. He hasn't been able to complete them, but I'm going to go with the pole sitter, the 96 of Nick Lucci.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy for me, Steve, because I only know one guy in here, but I got to go with old Johnny Rapp in that 52. I know how fast he is in the late model stock, so he's probably going to be flying here too. He's starting in 3rd, so he's got a good start already. Hopefully we can hang with Justin and Nick here and maybe make a move for it.
Johnny Rapp, a solid pick in that number 52 Mission Barbecue machine. We'll see how he traverses the lefts and rights here at Watkins Glen International as we're getting ready to go green already through turn 10. Approaching 11, pace car lights are out. He'll make the hard right down pit lane here in just a moment.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. The field coming to life at the front straightaway here. The run down into turn 1 side by side. Lucci and Justin Wilson.
Somebody spinning back there by the line.
Oh, one spinning and the backstretch. It's the 4.
Oh, he's broken.
And we might have other issues. Oh, he's got big time problems. Some drivers starting from pit lane. Some damage here on Nick Saroff. Oh, trouble. The 13 goes around. Jake Mockey in trouble. No contact. Gets it looped back around. He's going to have to wait for the field to clear.
Lots of room there to get back going, so that's lucky.
Big Maki back in action here, losing a significant amount of track position early on. Back out front on the main straightaway, lap 1 in the books. Wilson's going to lead it. Big gap, first group of trucks. Might have been due to the incident on the front stretch at the start. Interesting listening to these trucks too. They're hanging third gear through the carousel, it sounds like. At least Wilson is. I usually don't grab third gear until I'm in that runoff area.
Yeah, I'm about the same too, Steve. I'm usually about 45 degrees sideways too.
Well, that's the other thing too, is as you mentioned earlier, I haven't driven these trucks at all since the update, the new tire model and all, so maybe a lot of things have changed, but I don't want to question these guys. They're quick. Top 3 lined up like grandma's onions off turn number 1. Johnny Rapp in third. Lucci slips to second. Wilson maintains the top spot. Fast lap for Wilson the last time by, minute 13:09.
It's going to make for good racing up here in the front. These guys are going to start to get in their groove here.
Now, a very short race here, 29 laps. By comparison, a NASCAR Cup Series event runs 90 laps at this facility, so we're about just shy of a third distance of a Cup race. They do have a 70% fuel load, but would you even gamble here? Would you just go fuel only on your pit stop, not even worry about bolting tires on? Can they make it that far? Again, I know the tire model's a little different, but...
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I wish I could get some laps in to see how these tires wear out, if it's any different. I know at other tracks you get a lot more feeling in the wheel now. It seems like you got a lot more feeling in the front, especially with the truck. But man, I don't know, Steve. It's I guess it really depends. Though, if you have a pretty big enough gap, if you have enough time to get free, 4 tires, why not? But I think you probably could do just fuel and get back out there quick.
Johnny Rapp still hanging in the third position. His best lap so far, minute 13:07. Nick Lucci, the last time by, bests the top time from Wilson with a 13:22. Correction, that was a 13:16. Wilson ran an 09. Hunter Gio was fast in the early portions of practice. Currently runs in the 6th position where he started here tonight. I will say, just watching the entry to turn 10, the 92 of Josh Ward definitely has the line down. I'm going to watch him for a lap and see. He had the right side of his truck just about an inch off the grass before making the left into 10.
That's definitely what you want, Steve. You want to use every inch of that racetrack.
Now, I know we're calling these corners possibly different than what you might expect us to. Some broadcast networks call the last couple of corners turn 6 and turn 7. Back in the day, that's kind of how it was pre-1992. When they put the bus stop in, that technically adds a right-left, left-right combination, so it's effectively 4 turns. But some broadcast companies, they don't count those as corners, and I mean not just on iRacing. I think TV calls it turns 6 and 7 at the end of the lap, but MRN, they call it as turn 9 and 10, and well, that's kind of how we do it. We call it 9 and 10 because I count those bus stop corners, and I also grew up coming here for road racing specifically, more than just NASCAR, and even pre-bus stop, you count the corners in the boot section, the long course. Well, it evens out. This would be turn 10, and then the next corner would be 11. So that's just kind of how we grew up knowing it. That's how we're going to call it.
borderline second nature at this point, Steve.
It's just the way that it goes. And honestly, it's funny too, because when you're at the racetrack, the grandstands have the turn numbers on them, and it says turn 10. TV calls it 6.
Just fake news, Steve. Fake news.
Yeah, right. Josh Ward having a very smooth lap around this place. Just watch that circuit around, and he's got the line right. He's not the fastest guy on the racetrack, but he's pretty damn close. A minute 13.8. Nothing to be upset about by any means, especially on a race pace. In traffic.
Yeah, look at the 2 leaders. I mean, the last 2 laps for first and second was a 13.7 and 13.83, so pretty on pace.
I think it's right in line with what you were saying just a few moments ago. These guys find their rhythm, get into a groove. I think it's going to change a lot. Lucci hasn't lost any ground to Wilson at this point. He's just going to have to find a way around the 58. That's the problem, though, is you really need to set up your passes very, very meticulously, especially when you're racing against a guy who is of relative talent and about the same pace. It's hard to find a way to get around.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, it's one thing to catch him and a whole another thing to pass him.
Now, the trick really, and Zach, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You've shown me up on these road courses, even here at the Glen at times. But, you know, the key, I think, to turn 1 is not just out braking the guy, but getting that run out of turn 11, which goes back to the conversation about what gear selection you want to go with, second or third. I personally like second gear because you get that drive off. But what a lot of guys might be afraid of having happen is a little too much drive off and you light up the rear tires. But you get out of 11 nice and clean, you have that run down the main straightaway, and you can be late on the brakes. You can set up a pass pretty well.
Absolutely. Another thing too, Steve, is you want to be as outside as possible on your entry to make that corner as straight as possible. If it's even a half a mile an hour quicker through the guy, you know, instead of the guy ahead of you maybe cutting the corner a little too sharp, you're going to get that runoff exit. You're going to make that pass a lot easier for yourself.
It's one thing that I really love about this racetrack is you can make different decisions in how you run certain corners to be fast in different portions of the racetrack. A lot of guys will actually throw away turn number 1 and way back up their entry to carry that additional speed up through the S's and down the back straightaway. Some guys will do that to set up a pass into the bus stop, though it's risky because it is rather tight through there. Difficult to run side by side, but not impossible. I think the majority drivers out there would certainly prefer to set up that pass off 11 and make the pass down into 1.
Yeah, another thing too, Steve, is remember here in iRacing, there's only one view, and it's out that cockpit. So you're looking out the windshield, you got your mirrors, and if somebody gets to the inside that last second before the entry of that bus stop, it makes you think twice about what line you're going to take through there and when you're going to brake. Even if the guy's going to fake you, it really throws a wrench in everything.
What mirrors?
Yeah. You have a mirror?
Leaders getting into some lap traffic. They're going by the 42 of Paul Thomas. I wanted to take a step back here and go back to the initial start here. William Cameron, the driver of the Ford truck. No, different Ford truck. Now I got to go back and figure out who it was that went off. It was William Lyman, I believe. The 44? No. Maybe we got the wrong paint scheme somewhere. Meanwhile, checking on some other drivers throughout the field here. I wanted to go back and watch that initial replay at the start. Let's give it a shot here. Maybe we can figure out who this was that had their issues.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a lot bigger than we anticipated.
It was actually Nathan Gentry. He has the 4 on his truck, but he's listed as the number 2 in the timing, which is why we couldn't find him. But yeah, that was a rough start. I don't know if he missed a gear coming up through the gears on the initial start, but he got run into. Hunter Gio still hanging in that 6th position. Not a lot of positions have changed up within the top 10. Justin Wilson, of course, the leader. He took that from Nick Lucci right off on the start. Lucci runs second. Johnny Rapp started third, runs third. And, well, Rapp's getting a little smaller in the background there, so he's got to find a way to catch up with these guys, see what happens. Chase Berry started fifth. He's fourth. Chris Smith is the one that gave him that spot. He runs fifth. Hunter Gio started sixth, where he's running now. Evan Pienta, seventh. Eighth is Josh Ward. James Danforth up two in ninth. Dylan LeBeau in the 10th position. He's up 16 spots.
Man, he's putting in the work tonight.
Seen it a couple of times this season already where he's either had a poor qualifying effort or has simply opted not to put down a qualifying effort. Very quickly works his way up through the field. He's been a contender.
Yeah, and last time by, he was faster than the trucks, I think the 3 trucks ahead of him.
Again, relatively clean line through the bus stop. Not beating up the truck too bad. That's another thing you got to be concerned with when you go over that big curve on the entry to the bus stop. So if you hit it too hard too many times, eventually that truck is going to sustain some damage. Another driver on the move, Patrick Colby, started in the 25th position, was involved in that first lap coming to green incident. You see some damage on the right side of that truck, but he's still up 10 positions.
Looks like he's just fighting that truck. That damage might be giving him a little bit of trouble.
Maybe up through the S's we'll see it struggle a little more, but the other corners it might be okay. Granted, if he's got some wheel damage, that's going to make things a little more difficult. He is struggling up on those curves.
Looks like the rear tires might be a little toasty.
Brandon Ayers in the Grizzly number 16, hot to trot here. He's all over the back bumper. And there we talked about setting up the pass for the bus stop. Ayers did a great job setting up and completing the pass. That was 4 positions to move Ayers up into the 15th spot.
Really was a good job by Kobe, too, to let the pass go and not lose more than just the 1 position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point to make, Zach. I mean, it's not always about, okay, you got to be smart in the decision-making process, have good racecraft, and make the pass clean. But also, when you're the one being passed, yes, you can defend. I mean, that's fine. We're racing. But you have to be able to make that good judgment call as to, is this guy really that much faster than me? You know, am I just holding him up here? Am I going to cause a problem if I don't yield the spot? A smart move on Colby's part to do just that.
Yeah, with 18 laps to go, I mean, he could get behind him, maybe even learn a different line or something that he's doing that, could make him faster.
Checking on the leaders again. The lead is shrinking. Wilson still with it, but here we go. Possible pass for the lead into turn number 10. Lucci gets to the inside. Contact is made. Lucci hangs on to it, but he's going to settle back in behind the 58. Wilson going with the mindset of Formula One. If you're not all the way up on my door, I'm turning in. That was a close one, but we talked about this in the beginning, Zach. I think as this race progresses, and we saw it even on the ovals with Nick, is as the tires wear on that race car, he does tend to get a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I guess that's where it matters. If you can be fast and consistent on semi-worn tires or even really worn tires, I mean, man, that's a heck of an advantage.
Out of the S's. That was close. Now the 9 just came out of pit lane. Patrick Colby. Looks like he did take tires. A 14.8 second stop. Pretty quick. But even on fresh tires, he's not able to hold pace with the top 2 right now. But they're cold. Give him another lap. He might catch these guys again and get by.
That was a classy move by the 9 truck there on the entrance of that bus stop to let the second place have the entry.
Oh, he's in trouble there. That was close. Colby was real loose out of the carousel, got on the curbing and lit up the rear tires, almost put it in the Armco. But yeah, Zach, that kind of goes back to the racecraft, the race etiquette. Yes, he's on fresh tires, but he is now a lap down. Yeah, he's having some struggles here. I don't know if he still has some damage. Again, they don't have a fast repair, so I don't know how much time he spent repairing anything with a 14.8 second stop. I'm going to bank with none.
Yeah, something's got to be bent up on that thing.
91 Rye Jones finishing up his pit work. Another fast pit stop, 14.68. So that kind of answers the question, though, is we weren't 100% sure if the 70% fuel load was going to do it, and Colby's off the track again.
I think he caught some air there.
He's got to have the rear wheels towed out somewhere.
Yeah,
it-
maybe both sides.
'Cause that thing is dog tracking. It's got to be driving like a drift car, and he doesn't want it to.
No, and he wasn't anything like that in practice. He was very straight. And
Yeah, he's
running
going
clean
slow
lap.
now, and he can't keep it straight in the corner.
I think road course racing is tough, Steve. Try it with some bent wheels.
Yeah, right. As if it wasn't hard enough.
Right.
Wes Pistol in the pit box. Well, we talked about fuel only. It looks like Pistol might be trying that. He's trying to pick up the track position.
Definitely going to be a one stop and go to the finish, that's for sure. Lots of fuel here, though.
Pistol might be either serving a penalty or hitting a bathroom break. I don't know.
Say, how many tanks of fuel? I think we're on number 4.
Yeah, if he leaves... We'll find out here in a minute when we see the time on the pit stop time. If it's 40 seconds plus the pit work, you'll know.
Yeah, he's got a speeding penalty in there somewhere, I'm thinking, Steve. That's a shame.
There it is. It was a 6-second stop. Turned into 46 seconds. Good idea in theory, but didn't get her woed down is my guess. 15 to go already. Cruising right along here at the Glen. Wilson out in front. Lucci still runs second. Just a few laps ago, Lucci made an attempt for the race lead in turn 10. Got to the inside. Wilson closed the door.
Yeah,
Lucci's-
Nick's been running behind Justin here for enough laps to kind of see where he's a little faster. So we'll see if he starts planning on where he's going to make that attack, Steve.
Wilson looked a little loose on the exit of 1 there. Didn't really light up the rears, but enough to step the back of the truck out.
You know what the play here? You know what the play here is, Steve? If I was Nick, I'd come down pit road, get my stop done, get back out there, see if I could pass him at pit road.
Yeah, undercut. I mean, go out there and do it. The lap times have fallen off. Fastest so far was Wilson in a 13:09. They're running almost a minute 15 now, so if you can just get one lap, it's not a bad plan. All these guys leaving pit road at the same time.
That is a tricky pit road exit right there, too. You got to make sure you get all 4 tires over that blue line.
And there's no grip there, so if you get aggressive trying to get out, you do run a big-time risk getting over that line and getting dinged for a blend line violation. Justin Wilson to pit road first. Lucci stays out on the track. So
This
it looks
could
like
still work for Nick. You know,
I mean,
he's
it
fast.
could, but Wilson's trying the overcut. It's what it seems. But yeah, you're right, Zach. I think Lucci might be able to roll a little bit quicker lap time without anybody ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't know how much gas he probably has left right now, but boy, I'd almost stay out for a couple laps here if they're just going to. Well, let's see. There's
Now,
left side.
you got to come this time because you're going to give up almost 2 seconds a lap with him on fresh rubber.
Yeah, fresh tires. Look at that. Of course, they had enough of a lead anyway. They could just kind of take the tires, not worry about the time.
So Lucci through the carousel. Johnny Rapp now up to second. Wilson still shown as P3, even though he did make his pit stop. So Lucci out of turn 10. Let's see if he hits pit lane. Looks like he's gonna. He does. Trick with this, such a short race with the pit stop is do not make a mistake. You get a penalty here, you will not come back from it. So Johnny Rapp takes over the top spot. Of course, Rapp's going to need to pit as well.
I always like to look at that lap, Steve, where they come in, they make the entry to pit road, drive down pit road, and cross the start-finish line, just to see who had quicker entry to pit road. 1,000th of a second difference between these two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it on my end, and for whatever reason, mine doesn't go out that far, and it says it's identical, so 1:25.93. Now here, Wilson completes his lap post-pit stop, a minute 38.63. We'll see what Lucci does. Wilson does get by. Johnny Rapp's still out in front. He's going to need to pit here in a minute as well, but that cycle put Wilson about 3 seconds ahead of Lucci, so he gained a lot on the in and out for pit lane.
Man, that's an incredible difference.
And I think it's just a matter of how aggressive on entry you want to be. I mean, you can't really do too much on exit just because there's not a whole lot of space there to do it. You're hammered down as soon as the truck is straight. Rapp hits pit road. So again, Wilson's last lap, minute 38.63. That was after his pit stop. Obviously, he crossed the line when coming to his pit stall, so that's pit stop included. We'll see what Lucci's lap is, if it's any faster. Wow, Wilson runs a real quick lap. And Lucci was a little slower, not by much, maybe a tenth and a half.
Those new tires are doing their thing, though, Steve.
Minute 12.90, that was quick. William Cameron in pit lane, running 9th. I keep looking at this paint scheme, and it kind of reminds me of an old Ron Fellows scheme that he ran here at the Glen, and I think it was in the truck. This is going back in the late 90s, but I think it was a OER or something like that. Can't remember, but the colors were very similar. I actually think it was a DEI, or not DEI, a Richard Childress truck, now that I think about it. But it would make sense. Cameron's out of Canada, so it's a possibility. Hunter Gio up one spot now in the 5th position, off turn number 10. Last lap, fast time, Nick Lucci puts 1 minute 12.69 up on the board.
Oh boy, it's not over.
Now he's really cut into that lead too. Wilson was almost 3 seconds out in front. Now it's a second and a half. So going back to a comment you made earlier, Zach, about running behind someone, you know, maybe seeing what you can learn. You think Lucci might have been running behind Wilson to see where his weaknesses are for the last third of this race? Once he gets there, maybe he knows right where to set him up?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know. I mean, I think he's already just a little faster at this point, but he knows where to attack, and it's going to be tough where he catches his lap traffic, though. This is going to be the hardest part for both of these guys.
91 tried to stay out his way, but it's going to kill his entry into 11. It's going to cost Lucci a little bit of time.
Yep. That'll be at least a couple tenths down that long straightaway to 1.
I mean, and I can't blame the 91 to Rye Jones there either. It's like, you know, where do you want me to slow you down, in 10 or 11? Because it's going to be one or the other.
It's one of those things, you know, you just hold your line. That's all you can really ask for, and he definitely did that.
Tell you, Lucci lost some time, though. A couple of tenths just doing that.
Still faster than Justin that last time by, though, by about a tenth and a half, so that's impressive.
Keep the lap times up on the board here for now. We are getting the latter stages, the final third of this race. We're not going to take any breaks because this one's a short one, folks. We're going to stay with you flag to flag.
I think we're going to see a 3/10 or even a 4/10 difference on this lap time coming by this time, Steve. He is moving. And he knows time is running out.
And Wilson just pinpoint precision out of turn 11. You saw him just clip an inch of the grass there.
Couple 10.
There you go, almost 2. But it took him a whole nother lap to get those 2/10 that he lost back. Meanwhile, Johnny Rapp back in the 8th position. Not sure what happened there with Rapp. I know he had to make his pit stop, but I don't think he had any problems. Pit was 14:75. That was pretty quick.
Just that typical broadcaster's curse, you know, Steve. It's can't be helped.
Taking a look here, looks like he may have left pit lane twice. That's got to be an error on my end.
Yeah, that's.
But it would make sense given where he's running. Rapp in 8th, he was 3rd at the pit stops.
Yeah, he was only, what, about 4 or 5 seconds back from the front two?
He wasn't far.
10 seconds now, more than that.
Evan Pienta in the number 55. Running in the 6th spot. This is kind of how I anticipated this race was going to go. Looking at the lap times in practice, very competitive times. There's not a whole lot going on in the way of passing. Guys are within a position or two of where they started, with the exception of a few. Dylan LeBeau up 17. He's now running 9th. That's really our biggest mover, and it's by a wide margin. Ooh, a little wide there by Evan. Three different winners on the season so far. Dylan LeBeau took the first win of the year. Scotty Sabozak, which I don't think he took the green here tonight. And then Justin Wilson winning last week at Nashville. Trying to go 2 in a row here at the Glen.
Definitely looks like a great league, Steve. It's, you know, one little thing that I can't appreciate enough is, you know, the same banner on top of that windshield. Every truck's got it. They just look great out there.
Yeah, the uniformity, it shows these guys are really organized. They get their poop in a group, as some would say. Nick Lucci still has some work to do, but he is gaining on the race leader. Last 2 races, he's been the runner-up. Started the season with a 9th place, then second, and now he runs 2nd. In the last 2 races, again, he was on the pole position for those.
Kind of a good spot for Nick to send it here. I mean, he's got a pretty big gap back to 3rd place. I mean, he can really send it for these 5 laps and just put, you know, all caution to the wind and just send it.
Yeah, he's certainly in a position where he can afford to make some mistakes if he has to. It's going to kill him as far as the win is concerned, but he can still hang on to that 2nd spot. So you're absolutely right. Not a whole lot to lose. Just about 4/10 of a lap faster than Wilson the last time. It's right on board. Wilson getting into some lap traffic.
Oh, Oh, that's a huge moment, Steve. He's going to be right on him here at the end of this. That's a game changer.
Picked up a ton of time there. It went from about 0.8 to less than a quarter second. He is there, right on the back bumper of Wilson through turn 11, coming to 4 laps to go. We may have a battle before this one's over.
Steve, if you're Justin Wilson right now, you take that mirror right off, just throw it in the back.
You got to just race the racetrack at this point. You can't be concerned with it. I mean, if you hear him get alongside you, you hear that exhaust coming out the truck, okay, fine, maybe act accordingly, but maybe just run a defensive line for now, not pay any attention to where he is. Let him find a way around you if that's what's going to happen. But as of right now, Wilson's actually stretching it back out up through the S's, though.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Nick here to run right on top of Justin and be able to see his entry into somebody, especially here in the bus stop.
Yeah, identical lines through the bus stop. Beautiful.
Now remember, Nick was always a little bit faster coming into, I think it was turn 9, wasn't it, Steve?
Well, turn 10 is where he made the move on Wilson earlier on. Wilson slammed the door. They made contact.
Let's see if maybe he looks to do that again. Just another attempt at it. Not close enough here yet, I don't think. Good run through there, though.
Hey, picked up some more time. About a 10th through turn 10 and 11. Yeah, Lucci all the way over to the grass. He's going to have a good exit here, but as you talked about early on, he got that inside curb a little more than he wanted to.
Man, it's like hitting a wall, Steve. It really is. Just kills your momentum.
It kills the momentum. It upsets the balance of the truck.
Hey, Justin has a good run up through that hill, up through the S's there.
Last lap, they ran almost identical times. A minute 14:22 for both drivers. Lucci runs real wide out of the carousel, trying to keep the power down, but that's the longer way around. He loses a little bit of ground on Wilson. Wilson drives it deep into turn 10 this time. He picked up a lot of time. And I think Lucci's burned off the rear tires. He's hanging the rear of the truck out into 11. I don't know if you saw that, Zach.
Yeah, yep. It just takes such a long time, Steve, to get those tires cooled down, and especially, I mean, you don't have the time to really cool them down. You're going for the win here.
I mean, unless Lucci's saving something for later, I don't know if he's going to get them. They're too equal right now. We talked about that early on. So evenly matched. Again, fixed setup racing as well, so that plays a factor. You got equally prepared trucks and very similarly skilled drivers. It's very difficult to set up and make a pass.
Now these two trucks are going to be coming out of the bus stop. We have 2 lap cars just coming through the exit of the carousel. They might get to them on this last lap, this next lap. Might play a role. Very different exits there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Lucci decided to stick it to the inside and keep it from going over the curbing.
He did gain a little bit, but be coming to 1 to go here, Steve.
Final lap, white flag in the air. Justin Wilson, another 2.45 miles, and he'll pick up a checkered flag for the second week in a row. Lucci put it on the pole position. Once again, he might be looking at a third straight second place finish unless something crazy happens here on the final lap. Up through the S's, Wilson in charge, still carrying about a quarter-second advantage up through turn number 4. A little closer this time than it was the last 2 laps. Maybe Lucci got the tires cooled off. We'll see if he's got anything for him into the bus stop.
Both trucks through the bus stop, cutting that apron. Man, what an aggressive line for both these trucks.
That truck jumped a whole 1.5 feet to the left while all 4 wheels were off the ground, and he almost gets to the back bumper in the carousel. He's trying again. Will he make contact? No.
He's going to be close enough here, Steve, to maybe give him a little bumper.
As close as he's been in this run, under 2/10. 2 more opportunities. Big time braking zone into turn 10. Wilson closes the door.
Gonna run wide on it.
Up
Here we go.
ahead.
You're gonna dive it in there. Nope.
Out of
Keeps
turn
it
11. Oh, a little wiggle from Wilson. Big time wiggle from
No.
Lucci. Side by side, coming to the stripe. No, Wilson's going to take the win. Lucci couldn't get the power down off turn 11. Both drivers tried to hammer it. Wilson's going to take the win. Well, it was certainly entertaining. It was short but sweet. I know a lot of times, Zach, we cover these races, and it's a predominantly oval series most of the time, and you usually get 1 or 2 guys at most that have any talent at all on a road course. And it seems that better than half the field here, they can get around this place. It wasn't a disaster by any means, and we got to watch a great battle for the win.
Yeah, it's really hard to beat. I mean, the guys in the back of the field were all running the perfect line around a road course. I mean, it was pretty cool to see.
Getting unconfirmed reports, by the way, that Kurt Busch may have been arrested on suspicion of DUI. We'll have to dig into that later on. Completely unrelated to the broadcast, but try to keep track of the news as we're trying to cover these things. Wouldn't be the first time.
Nope.
Too bad either way.
Retirement going well.
Justin Wilson victorious as he pulls back onto the main straightaway. Put all that front brake in it. Let's go.
Be some Crown Royal in this victory lane.
It's like he cut those donuts with a protractor.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
Nicely done by Justin Wilson. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way before we talk to our top 3 finishers. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen International, Justin Wilson victorious for the second week in a row. The driver of the number 58 securing the victory here, certainly leading the most laps. Did not pick up the fastest lap of the race, but pretty close. Let's get a word here with the driver of the number 58. Justin, it's Steve in the broadcast booth with Zach Millett. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, big money.
Justin, congratulations, man. An awesome run here tonight. Again, so many of us that even dabble in the road courses love this place. I'm assuming you're kind of in the same boat. Wasn't able to put it on the pole position tonight, but outside front row, and it didn't take long. Very quickly, you took over the race lead. Walk us through your start and, I don't know, the rest of the race there. How did you hold off Nick at the end?
No, I mean, it was going to be all about Nick. Nick definitely, I mean, he showed his speed in practice, qualifying. I mean, we knew he was going to be the one to beat. I know I didn't have the pace with him. I just knew off that initial start, if I got in front of him, I know I have the pace to keep him behind me. So that was pretty much the strategy the whole race. I pitted before he did so I could make sure I was in front of him, and I just bided my time. And like I said, we had some good close racing, and I'm just, I'm thankful for the hard racing that we had, and it was clean. So I mean, my hat's off to Nick, man. He's a good racer.
Closest you guys came there, an incident about maybe halfway prior to the pit stops. You guys made some contact as Lucci dove to the inside in turn 10. You turned down. You guys made some contact. It wasn't severe by any means, but did you see him to the inside and you're just like, no, not today?
Yeah, I mean, it's just racing defensive. I mean, it's no different than what we did last week, right? So, I knew if he got in front of me, and I was not going to make it easy for him to pass by no means, but I mean, if he had it, he was good. I mean, like I said, I gave him the room. I just didn't give him all the room, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's just good racing.
Certainly a fun race to watch. Great to see two guys battling out for the win here at the Glen. Looking forward to next week. We get a bit of a break, but 2 weeks from now, Chicagoland Speedway. We're going to see you turn some laps there.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I mean, Chicagoland's a pretty little tricky mile and a half, so it's going to be like all the other mile and a halves, just momentum and track position.
Well, certainly looking forward to it, Justin. Congratulations once again. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Well, thank you guys for putting the show on. The Spark Racing League for letting me run. It's like kind of my official first full season of running. Obviously, got to thank Nick for the good hard racing these last few weeks, and thank my teammates. I got Chase, finished P3. We'll be talking to him soon, and Ryan didn't quite have the run he wanted to have, but all worked out for the team though, with the top two in the top three. So yeah, I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready for the next one.
All right, Justin. Well, congrats once again. Thanks for talking to us, and have a good week off.
Yeah, you too, man.
It's Justin Wilson, your race winner here from Watkins Glen International. Next, we're going to talk to, yet again, our runner-up. This guy is so good in qualifying, pretty good in the race, but unfortunately hasn't been able to close the deal. Another second-place finish. Nick Lucci at Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
You got to be getting tired of this, man. How are you going to get up on victory lane before this one's over?
Man, I have no idea. I guess I got to ask Justin and Scotty, and I guess I'll take the off week, and I guess we'll just ask around how to win one of these dang things. But other week, I felt we were going to be kind of the class of the field. I messed up in turn one, lap one, just spun the tires off turn one. That allowed me and Justin to be side by side up through the S's, and at that point, I thought we were going to be able to get around and just take the lead and set sail, but obviously for what felt like an eternity, it just wasn't the case until we pitted. It is what it is, just one of them things, but I feel confident we'll get a couple by the end of the year.
Want to go back and talk about the contact in turn number 10. It was not severe by any means, but you got to run. You got to the inside, under braking. Wilson turns down in. You guys keep it going straight after that. Did you think you had the position at that point?
I thought that for how long I was behind the 58, I thought that for a league that we ran in last year, normally we would just let each other go. Obviously, it's not the case, which is fine. It's just hard racing. But I thought I would have it, and then I just kept entering way too shallow, just trying to make sure I'd get to the apex, and then I'd just have no exit speed, which obviously Justin was able to use to get to the next corner. But I just know that for how often that we normally race each other, just reckon someone on lap 8 is kind of my forte. But it is what it is. Justin obviously drove a really good race, drove a very good defensive race. Just needed to learn to pass a little, I guess. But we'll take the off week. We'll hopefully be top of the winner's circle at Chicagoland.
Looking forward to Chicagoland here in a couple of weeks. Obviously, a rather unique oval track with the backstretch being curved the way that it is. Is Chicago the place that you think you can park this thing in victory lane?
Man, I wish. I feel that abrasive 1.5 miles are kind of my thing. I felt that I was able to prove that at Texas a couple weeks ago. Hopefully, we'll just be able to finish the deal out with pit strategy. Maybe I'll hire Scotty's pit crew again. But now, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll go back to just turning left and hopefully extend the points lead again.
All right, Nick. Well, again, congratulations. A strong run, a great pole position run as well. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Big thanks to obviously everyone that's a part of Slingshot Race. Sorry, not Slingshot, Old League. Big shout out to everyone that's a part of Spark Racing League. This is obviously a really good group of guys. Shout out to you and everyone at Holler Boys Racing TV. Hopefully we can continue to get a little bit more viewership in the coming weeks. Big thanks to everyone at F. Scott Motorsports, Evan Pienta and James Danforth. Both got top 10 runs, which was obviously good to see, especially for James after last week. But like I said, we'll go to Chicagoland and we'll hopefully prepare to win and hopefully finish it off.
All right, Nick. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations again, and good luck in a couple of weeks.
Take care, guys.
Nick Lucci, your runner-up here at the Glen. Next, we're going to talk to the driver of the number 46, KB's all-around shop. It's going to be Chase Berry. We didn't talk a whole lot about him here tonight, but started 5th, passed a couple of trucks on his way to a 3rd-place finish. Chase, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Chase, congratulations, man. A strong run here tonight. Decent qualifying. Put it in the top 5 and picked up a couple of spots before this one came to a conclusion. Finish it out with a solid top 3. Tell us about your day and what kind of road course experience do you really have in these machines?
I mean, day is pretty good. It's like I said, it started 5th. Just being consistent. I know if I can just stay on the track, I'll be fine. Had a good race with Johnny. I wasn't as quick as Nick or Justin, but I think I had enough pace, to maybe be a second off of them, just in case they got together. I could, be there, to capitalize on it. Other than that, and all the experience I have, I love running the NASCAR stuff on road courses. It's fun. I know since I think they updated the truck last year, and I took a break and all that good stuff, so I haven't truly got this truck figured out yet, like on a road course, just how it drives. But I love road racing. Road racing is a lot of fun for me, especially in like IMSA. So that's my background in road racing.
Well, it certainly showed through here tonight at the Glen. It was a great run for you, a solid top 3 finish once again. Looking forward, we got a week off, so some time to get ready for Chicagoland Speedway. If you have a road racing background, a little bit different racetrack, but it's going to be an oval. How do you feel your odds are in a couple of weeks out of Chicagoland?
I'm terrible at mile and a half. I kind of hate them. If everything would have been, worked as good as this season, I think I could have been talking to you at Daytona if I didn't wreck the field on that. And I wrecked last week in lap 1. So, I think if, those didn't happen, I think I'd have been talking to you a little bit more. But Chicago, I don't know, it's terrible. I'm not a big fan of mile and a half. So we'll wing it. We'll figure it out. We got 2 weeks to figure it out, so it'll be fine.
Well, fair enough, Chase. Again, a solid run here tonight. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
You broadcasting, everybody at Spark for, putting the league on. Teammates, Justin, Dylan, Ryan, who we got else over there? That's about it. So, other than them, thank you.
All right, Chase, good luck in a couple of weeks, man. Thanks for chatting with us.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm going to need it.
Chase Berry, your 3rd-place finisher here at the Glen. Not real confident about the ovals going forward, but I don't know. He had a solid qualifying effort last week. Had a problem, obviously, at the start, but he's got the abilities. I think he'll get it squared away. With all that said, let's take a look here at our official race results. We talked to our top three: Justin Wilson, Nick Lucci, and Chase Berry. Fourth place finisher was Chris Smith. Then Hunter Gio was fifth. Evan Pienta finished in the sixth spot. Josh Ward was seventh. Johnny Rapp finished in the eighth position. Dylan LeBeau, a big mover. I would say if there's a hard charger award, he wins it. 17 positions gained. He finishes in the ninth spot. James Danforth was 10th. Ellis Thomas 11th. Sam Cosner 12th. Chris French finishes 13th. William Cameron 14th. Dade Grajewski was 15th. Robert Lydell 16th. Jake Maki finishes 17th. Rye Jones was 18th. 19th place finisher was Brandon Ayers. 20th went to Wes Pistol. Abram Ghostin was 21st. Paul Thomas 22nd. Larry Poling 23rd. 24th went to William Lyman. Pat Colby 25th. Brian Brobst was 26th. Steve Vest 27th. Nick Saroff 28th. And Nathan Gentry was 29th. 29 laps down. I don't know if he even took the green flag. In fact, no, it appears he tried to take the green flag. Yes, he was the machine that wrecked coming up through the gears. May have missed the shift, and I think it was the 9 of Colby that got into him at that point. That was our first incident on the Speedway this evening. With that said, thank you guys all for tuning in. Again, thank you, Zach, for jumping up in the broadcast booth. Your road course experience certainly always welcome, and you can come help us out on the ovals too, because, well, you're pretty quick there as well. But I do appreciate you being here. Thanks for the help and the call, and hopefully we'll see you again here if you've got the time to do it in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope, hopefully the work schedule will clear up a little bit. I'd love to jump up here in the booth anytime I can, and it's a blast to watch these guys race around these places. They're ripping. Well, again, if you guys haven't already done it, go into the description of today's video. Click the link that is included in the description. That is for the Fans' Choice Award. I guess you can call it the Goon Squad Fans' Choice Award. Click that information, fill it out. There is prizes at the end of the season for the driver with the most votes, so go ahead and do that before you get out of here. And while you're there, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. It's always a good time. Once again, congratulations to our race winner, Justin Wilson. For Zach Millett, I'm Steve Singer from HBR TV saying, see you next week. Oh, see you in 2 weeks.
Story